Hey, what is it exactly? So in this
Templar and of the Freemasons.
I lived as though it was already done.
If he lies, he will be
about emotional intelligence.
Something happened to me on a dark night in 1976. It was December 19th, a day that will change my life forever.
Midst of something. Now, what is that something? And more than likely, that something is a set of circumstances or a dilemma you may have encountered that you attracted into your life. And that's where the laws of attraction come to meet emotional intelligence. Like attracts like. These things that you expect come to you. What we believe is that if we say some affirmations, if we take a moment and visualize something, do a vision board or something of that nature, that's what's going to happen, but not true. As a matter of fact, if I say right now, do not think of a chimpanzee wearing a red tie and a blue and white pinstripe suit, whatever you do not picture this chimpanzee wearing this red bow tie and this blue pinstripe suit. What do you keep thinking of? The very thing that I told you don't think about, because that is where you are putting your emotion, that energy plus motion, and the more emotion you pour into anything, the more of that thing you receive. In other words, you can say one thing and do another. And as we well know, many of us typically say all the right things, but do we do them? If you don't believe me, go to somebody's house and look at all the dusty workout equipment. Look at all the diets that they tried. Go to a gym and look at the people that signed up that are no longer coming, because what we have done is we've taken the laws of attraction and misapplied them. We don't take serious the things that we feel we deserve enough in order for them to manifest into our lives. And
successfully the game of life. We must train the imaging faculty. A person with an imaging faculty trained to image only good brings into his life every righteous desire of his heart. Health, wealth, love, friends, perfect self-expression, his highest ideals. The imagination has been called the scissors of the mind, and it is ever cutting, day by day, the pictures man sees there, and sooner or later, he meets his own creations in his outer world. To train the imagination successfully, man must understand the workings of his mind. The Greeks said, "Know thyself." There are three departments of the mind: the subconscious, conscious, and superconscious. The subconscious is simply power without direction. It is like steam or electricity, and it does what it is directed to do. It has no power of induction. Whatever man feels deeply or images clearly is impressed upon the subconscious mind and carried out in minutest detail. For example, a woman I know, when a child, always made believe she was a widow. She dressed up in black clothes and wore a long black veil, and people thought she was very clever and amusing. She grew up and married a man with whom she was deeply in love. In a short time, he died, and she wore black and a sweeping veil for many years. The picture of herself as a widow was impressed upon the subconscious mind, and in due time worked itself out regardless of the havoc created. The conscious mind has been called mortal or carnal mind. It is the human mind and sees life as it appears to be. It sees death, disaster, sickness, poverty, and limitation of every kind, and it impresses the subconscious. The superconscious mind is the God mind within each man and is the realm of perfect ideas. In it is the perfect pattern spoken of by Plato, the divine design. For there is a divine design for each person. There is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill, something you are to do, which no one else.
Attracted this, but some of the negative aspects as well, like, hate to say it, we attracted that in some way. We might not like the idea of gravity pulling us down all together on this earth. Like, shouldn't we just be able to get up and fly away? But it's not work out very well. You are what you attract in your life. And I know that's a hard pill to swallow, because you're like, I love some aspects of my life and we want to take credit for that. Like, yeah, I attracted this. But some of the negative aspects as well, like, hate to say it, we attracted that in some way. We might not like the idea of gravity pulling us down all together on this earth. Like, shouldn't we just be able to get up and fly away? But it's a lot, right? And if you don't like gravity, it doesn't matter if you step out your window, gravity is going to work. It's going to pull you down. So it's the same thing sometimes with like the law of attraction. We might not like the fact that we've attracted everything that's bad for us or in some negative circumstance in some way, shape, or form. But as soon as we realize it, now we have the power to change it, okay? Like attracts like, the law of attraction, just like gravity. Nikola Tesla, okay, one of the greatest, what would you classify him as? Scientists, physicists, inventors, said if you want to discover the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He knew this. Like attracts like. That's the second thing. The third thing, so important, is your self-image. Okay, so thoughts are things, the law of attraction. Thoughts are things, like attracts like. The third component of the law of attraction is your self-image. Remember, you are what you bring about. Wayne Dyer says we don't manifest what we want in life, we manifest what we are. I love that, okay? So if you want to get something, you have to first become something. And I've said this in almost every video, but if you want, stop trying to look for the right person and start trying to become the right person. And naturally, everything speeds up faster and you get what you want. And that is the way, my friends, you do it. The next part of this is, I'll write it for you. The science of deliberate creation. Most people think that if I believe in the law of attraction, yep, that's enough. You know, close the book, I believe. Now I can become a millionaire, get a six-pack abs, live in Bali, and travel 9 months out of the year. And, you know, I believe in the law of attraction, that I deserve that. That's not exactly how it works. The second part that's equally as important is the science of deliberate creation. This is where you actually co-create with the universe or your higher self or God, whatever you want to call it. You're a co-creator. You have some role in this. Again, there's three components to break this down. Start with the first one. This is my favorite. There's the LOA, law of attraction, and now there's the law of Goya. You know what this stands for? It's very complex, okay? This is what Buddha wrote about, scholars wrote about, Socrates wrote about. It's the law of getting off your ass, okay? I'm joking there, that was obviously a joke. Get off your ass, okay? This is like getting to work. I want to talk about a few things here. So, putting the action in. This is the component that so many people screw the pooch and miss the ball on, is actually putting in the work and working towards things. And when you take a step towards your goals, towards your manifestation, towards your dreams, you know what happens? They actually take a step towards you, because again, like attracts like. And if you're moving on the same path as something, don't you think it's going to come to you faster? Absolutely. This is momentum.
The meta secret to wealth is knowing exactly what you want and then being willing to pay the price to get it. Most people think that wealth just comes out of having this impression in your mind that you're going to live an abundant life. And that's an important piece of it, but it's incomplete. If you look at the word attraction in the law of attraction, the last 6 letters spell action, A-C-T-I-O-N. One of my favorite words is satisfaction. We all want to have satisfaction. And again, in Latin, satis means enough. Enough action, satisfaction, enough action produces the result. You know, I've been very, very successful with the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, and everyone thinks, oh man, you were lucky, you had this great idea. And we use the law of attraction. We visualize and we put up posters around our office that simulated bestseller lists with our name #1. We visualize bookstore windows full of Chicken Soup for the Soul books, all of which came true. But there's a asking and a believing and a receiving, the 3 steps that I think of in the law of attraction. And the second part of believing is taking action. Because if you believe that your action is going to pay off, you'll take the action. So believing doesn't just mean like sitting there going, I believe I can be wealthy. It means doing the things that produce wealth.
The key to abundance is to act in spite of fear, act in spite of doubt, act in spite of worry, act in spite of inconvenience, act in spite of uncertainty, act in spite of anything.
If we're talking about metaphysical, we're talking about beyond the physical. So what we've got to do is go inside. We have been programmed to live from the outside in. We're letting what's going on outside of us control what's going on inside. If we're going to get into the meta side of our own personality, we've got to get away from this physical instrument we've got and move into the higher side of our own personality. And start to understand that we live simultaneously on 3 planes of understanding. And we work from a higher to a lower potential. If you're working with electricity, any electrician, any engineer will tell you that you have to work from a higher to a lower potential. If you go contrary to that, you're not going to get any use out of the electricity. Well, when you're working with the mind, you don't start with the physical and work up. You start with thought and work down. Thoughts are of a spiritual nature.
A few people ask a similar question to this. When visualizing, do I need to let go of it afterwards and forget about it? Because that is what most stories on the website tell. Or do I need to visualize it every day? I'm confused. Yes, you let go of it because it's already done. So when you visualize it, you let it go. It's already done. Now, I talked about The Secret a few weeks ago, and I said that I visualized it, but then every day I lived as though it was already done. I didn't visualize it every day. I lived as though it was already done. And so when you, because all it takes is one visualization, yes. And so why people say to let it go is because if you are holding on to it, then you don't believe that you have it already. And you have to believe that you have it already. So it's like this. Let's say you want a dream car and you've been saving for ages and you're finally going to get your dream car. You don't know you can manifest it through The Secret, but you've been saving for ages and you go to the dealership and you test drive the car and you say, I'm going to buy this car, and you buy the car and you get in the car and you drive it home. The next day you're going to visualize wanting a new car. Oh, why? Because you've already got it, right? So that's how you have to feel. You visualize once, it's already done. It's already done. And so then you let it go. And I'm sure for many, many people that they found that when they forgot about it, that's when it manifested. Because when you forget about it, you're not holding on to it anymore, right? So yeah, so you do let it go. You visualize and you do let it go.